Welcome to the 13 News Now live NFL Draft Special.
I'm loving it.
All right, now to my left, we have a man who needs no introduction, but I'll do it anyway. A former Hampton Pirate linebacker,
right.
a current sports anchor, a current news reporter, the man with the spiciest takes, Shane Fordham. Shane, say something to the people.
Hey, man, don't elbow me.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
We are 30 seconds.
Feels good to be here.
30
I know.
seconds
It's not
in.
safe for me to be here.
You know, linebacker.
We've been asking Shane to get less muscular. It's not going that good. But to his left, trying his best to fit onto the stage. You know, in the NFL draft, every player who gets drafted tonight has an ultimate goal. And that goal is to make the Hall of Fame. But we've got a guy on this show who's already in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Brian Smith, if you caught him on the baseball diamond, you'd be scared. You'd be brushed off the plate. But when you catch him at the live draft special, it's just good to have him here.
It's good to be here, guys.
Brian?
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everybody. And my name is Connor Rhiel. Now, we're doing something a little different this year. We've done a draft preview special each of the last few years.
Yes.
And that's when we prepare everybody for what's to come in the draft. But this year, we wanted to experience the draft with you. Now, that means something very special, which is that this is live.
Oh, that's scary.
And
That's
we
scary.
typically try not to let Shane Fordham be live.
It's dangerous.
You don't know what's going to happen, but no worries, because we've got some guardrails here in the form of one of our favorite humans, the Travis Hunter of 13 News Now. You see him on air. You see him producing shows. There's very few things he can't do. Kyle Johnson will be chiming in with us from time to time here during our live draft special. Kyle, we're a little dressed down, but I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I have
Say
to
hello.
keep you guys in check. It's good to see everybody. Good to be here. And while Shane, I know you've got the muscles in here, I got the muscles up here.
There you
so
go.
I'm going to keep
Wow.
you guys in check. I got the stats going all night long, checking in with the insiders, seeing if anybody's looking for trades. I'm ready to go if you guys are.
The muscles of the skull.
Nice.
The cabeza, working that thing out. Kyle, it is great to have you here. Jump in anytime because this thing is viable to go off the rails.
I feel so much better with Kyle here, though.
It's much more comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel some electrodes by me right now. I
No,
don't
no,
know
that's
why.
a bottle of Gatorade. Just
that what
take
it
a
is?
sip of
Okay.
that if
Yeah,
you get
just wanna
thirsty.
make
Those
sure,
are
yeah.
electrolytes.
Oh, electrolytes.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit of draft. We've got the screen right in front of us. If you'd like to watch along, you're more than welcome. If you'd like to just watch us, we will keep you posted on every single draft pick as it comes. We're going to do a little bit of analysis, a little bit of debate, maybe a personal story or two. Roger Goodell is riding a bicycle onto the draft stage right now as we speak.
That's new.
Can we do
means
that?
We don't have a bicycle. We were not given clearance.
And
for
we
the
don't
bicycle.
have the space to do it with.
No, we do not, because again, Shane is here, taking up a lot of space with the. That's our last muscle joke. Last muscle
Yeah.
joke. Let's talk a little bit of football, okay? The big difference between this draft and last year's draft, there's not a lot of top-tier, super elite blue chip prospects.
Yeah.
Players that are supposed to be great at premium positions. That is what you want in the top 10. There are not a lot of those guys this year. Last year, notably, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake May, Joe Alt, a lot of those guys. This year, I think there's 4 of those guys.
Yeah, we're
Maybe
used to
3.
We're used to seeing a lot of Batmans in the draft, especially in the first round. But it seems like we're going to get a lot of Robins this year. A lot of guys who, we were talking about this, a lot of guys who could be great number 2s in their respective positions, whether it's receiver, whether it's edge rushers, D linemen, linebackers. That's what it seems like this year.
It almost appears that the talk now was like within the first, 6 picks, we had quarterbacks. You could see a shift. The best players may not be in the first round. They may be in the second or third round. And that's just something to look out for, just in case.
Now let's start by going over the Batmans. I see 3 definite Batmans here. Number 1, the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter. Cornerback, wide receiver, could play both, could be elite at either one. Then we have the pass rusher, Abdul Carter from Penn State. And then, of course, Ashton Ginty, the running back. Now, Ashton Ginty is elite for his position, but his position is not elite. You don't draft running backs high in the draft. That's a rule that we've learned in modern football.
Yes.
But he may be good enough to break that rule. We're going to find out. And then you've got Cam Ward, destined to be the number 1 pick. I do not believe he's an elite prospect, but he plays an elite position, and he's good enough.
He
to
actually
get in this
started
house.
out 0 stars. I was reading, I was like, wait a
Zero
minute. He
stars.
never was a 3, 4, 5-star guy.
That's right.
0 stars, had to work his way through. And now he's likely the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yes, and we are going to find out very soon. We've got all kinds of facts and information about Cam Ward when the time comes. But for now, we have a few more parameters to set here on our live stream of the NFL draft.
Parameters.
By far the most important is that we have another setting. It's not just this table. It's not just Kyle Johnson at his super desk. We have a hot take corner. That is what Shane Fordham used to call his apartment in college, but now it is a part of this studio. So what will happen is if someone at this desk decides that they have a take worthy of the hot take corner, we'll stand up, we'll make our way over. There it is. There it is. You have to walk across a path of lava. You touch the sun twice, and then you find yourself in the hot take corner, and we will reveal said hot take to each other and the people.
Just beautiful to look at.
I knew you'd
Wonderful.
like it, Shane.
I couldn't figure out why my feet felt so warm.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was
That's
the
why.
hot molten lava.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Not
what
a
I thought.
space heater. Not a space heater.
No,
Yeah.
those are even worse. I'm just saying.
Do we think, well, should we do a temperature check literally? Good, feels good in here.
It does.
I feel ready. You guys went quarter zips. I stayed with the sleeves.
I'm a little
Drafty for me.
Yeah.
Forgive me for us follically challenged guys, but yeah, a little drafty, but I'm fine. That's why I'm wearing this.
Yeah.
Always feel a breeze. Is it a breezy up there?
Always, yeah. Always busy up there.
Now,
yes.
we know, I'm feeling like this could be one of our more memorable NFL drafts, but I got a question for you guys before the picks start flowing in, okay? Favorite draft memory in all our time of watching the draft year after year. Give me your favorite personal experience that you had, Shane Ford.
Well, as an unbiased sports journalist, those who know me know that I reside from the city of Philadelphia, so I grew up an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
I remember a very memorable draft moment for me was in 2022 when the Eagles landed A.J. Brown in the 2022 draft, trading away their their 18th overall pick to the Titans in exchange for A.J. Brown. The Titans used that pick for Treylon Burks. But I mean, one of the biggest breaking news alerts, especially in draft night history.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
I mean, just landing someone who was a top 5 receiver, top 5, one of the best receivers in the NFL at that time, on a team that was an up-and-coming playoff team at the time.
What team did A.J. Brown come from?
Tennessee Titans.
And the Tennessee Titans, would you look at that? They've got the number 1 pick this year. That trade did not work out for Tennessee, and they're officially on the clock. We are at 9 minutes and about 10 seconds for the Titans here. That pick could come in at any time. We'll keep you posted. We want to keep you posted on something else. If you see Shane go prayer hands, you know he's about to wax. So turn the TV up a little bit. Maybe put down the bag of chips because Shane's got some things to say. Now, while we wait for this pick to come in, Brian, do you have a favorite draft memory? As a Jets fan, I know it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows for you guys.
You didn't have to do that.
Well, someone's got to say it. We're talking truths and facts.
I have scar tissue for skin, so I'm okay. More like draft nightmares.
Okay.
Probably the most famous one, I believe, Kyle helped me out here, the 83 draft that had the likes of Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, and the Jets had a chance to get Dan Marino. They passed on him and got a guy by the name of Ken O'Brien.
K.O.B.?
No.
Yeah, it didn't work out as good as the nickname
did not work
sounds.
out. That's one of my favorite nightmares.
Maybe we'll turn that around today because the Jets are picking in the top 10. But first, let's talk about these Tennessee Titans, okay? The 2024 Tennessee Titans. Brian Callahan's first year as head coach in Tennessee, they went 3-14, 27th in points scored, 30th in points allowed. They lost their last 6 games in a row, which I like to refer to as a proper tank. They knew the number 1 pick was in their sights, and they got the job done. So I think they deserve a round of applause on that, and they need a quarterback. Will Levis did not work out, and so they need a quarterback. Just 3 years ago, they had Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Mike Vrabel. Now they have none of those guys.
Scary.
But they do have the number 1 pick. You guys like Cam Ward here? If you were in the war room right now and they said, Shane, what do we do here? You like Cam Ward?
I like Cam Ward as a player, but I'm not sure I would dive all in, go fully in on Ward over Sanders. And I'm not saying that because I don't think.
You might as well go over to the thing.
I mean, is that a hot take? Is that a hot take?
That is a
Go now.
Is that a hot take?
Just go now.
Is that a hot take?
Just go now.
You got
Should I be fully sold on Cam Ward over Shedeur Sanders?
Do you want me to throw this flag or not? I'll slam it on this table
now. Is that challenge worth it?
Yes, it is worth it.
Let's hold on. Kyle, what do you think here? Is that a required hot take corner? Are we forcing him to the hot take corner here?
Let me do it.
Is that what's happening?
Let me do it.
I don't know that we can force him. I agree. That's a pretty hot take. I mean, you just look at some of the stats that Cam Ward was picking up last year. He was getting over 4,000 yards for the entire season. I'm going to put that in perspective with the Tennessee Titans. You mentioned Will Levis. He only got 2,000 total yards in the entire NFL season.
Wow.
Tough.
So over double. And also we have Will Levis's quarterback rating for the entire 2024 year, only 81.4%. His TD to interception ratio, almost 1-to-1, 13 touchdowns.
Kyle, he's already dead. He's already dead.
No, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I have to go to the hot take corner.
You know
I can't
what?
do this.
Fine.
I can't do this. I can't believe.
Go to the hot
I can't
take.
If you're going to go to the hot take
I
corner,
can't
go to the hot
believe
take
my
corner now.
compadres are forcing me to the hot take corner. We just started the special, and I'm already at the hot take corner.
let me just give some perspective before you make your extremely hot take for Mr. Cam Ward. I mentioned his 4,300 yards last season. Remember that quarterback rating that I mentioned for Will Levis in the 80s? Cam Ward, 172.2. That's his rating, according to ESPN statistics, for just last season. And that touchdown interception ratio, 39 TDs, 7 interceptions. So go ahead, tell us about Sanders.
Well, Kyle, no doubt you are the master of stats, but having a higher QBR than Will Levis is not a hard thing to do. I mean, all of us sitting in the studio probably have a higher QBR than Will Levis at this point, and I don't think either one of us, none of us have thrown a football in regulation minutes. So I don't think that is a big accomplishment. But if you're looking at Shedeur Sanders has been in a situation where he has had to create in situations where nothing was there. I mean, he's used to having to throw under pressure. If you think about this, if you were to ask any offensive player in the NFL what the difference between playing in the NFL and playing in college, they'll tell you it's the separation of the D-line. The D-line gets off their blocks so much quicker in the pros than they do in college. Shedeur Sanders has only had maybe an average of 2 seconds at the most to make a decision with the ball in college. He was the most sacked quarterback 2 years ago, still throwing for over 3,000 yards on his back 52 times, still one of the most productive quarterbacks in college. This year, he was 4th in passing, over 4,000 passing yards, 2nd in passing touchdowns, all without zero offensive line. No protection whatsoever, was still one of the most productive quarterbacks in college football, even without Travis Hunter.
Shane, you're getting closer and closer to the middle here. You're slowly moving as you do this.
Can't help himself.
It's how passionate I am about this conversation.
It's going to be the hot take corner by the time that you're in there. Now, do you have more to say? That you were cooking there. Do you have more to say? Because I do believe there are responses.
I do have more to say. I think Shedeur Sanders will have the smoothest transition to the NFL, smoother than any other quarterback coming out of college, and that includes Cam Ward, because this won't really be that different of a situation for him. He's used to making quick decisions under pressure. He's used to having to make throws on the run, not being comfortable in the pocket. So if we're talking about who is the better quarterback to trust, especially in a situation in Tennessee that doesn't have many weapons, doesn't have much of an O-line, I feel like Shedeur Sanders would be the better pick if I'm the Titans GM. That's my hot take.
All right, come on back over here. Our first hot corner of the day.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Woo.
Oh, man.
I'm hot.
Right.
I'm hot.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, now,
I tend to agree with him.
Now, hold on now, B. Smith. I hate to cut you off, and you said something crazy there as well.
A little bit. I said a little.
The pick is in. We will see if the lifelong football experts agree with Shane or if they disagree
we know
the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
All right, Roger Goodell has taken the podium. He surveys the crowd in Green Bay. I believe they're outdoors here, which is a choice for an April draft in Wisconsin.
Historic
and it is Cam Ward, quarterback for the University of Miami, the #1 pick in the 2025 NFL draft to the Tennessee Titans. Now, before we jump back into this discussion, because I think it's a good one, let's go over a couple things. We already alluded to it, all right? Cam Ward started his career at Incarnate Word. He had no offers coming out of high school other than Incarnate Word. Incarnate Word, 4,726 undergrad,
Wow.
according to usnews.com. Then he transferred to Washington State. He started to work his way up the ranks. At Washington State, successful enough to get a look at Miami. He transfers to the U, a legendary college program that has fallen on hard times, and he brings them back to national relevancy. He is athletic. He's got good size. He's got a live arm. He is super competitive. He is able to make some things happen with his feet, but he can also throw that football. And again, Miami has struggled as a team, as a program. Cam Ward gets there, and they start to rise back into national relevancy.
Some would say they should have been in the playoffs this year.
Some would say they should have been in the playoffs. I would not have put them in the playoffs, but that's a discussion for another special. Now, two quick things. Cousins with Virginia Tech quarterback Kyron Drones, one of our favorites here in the Commonwealth. One of the reasons he was at Incarnate Word, he played in the wing T in high school.
Wow.
He had almost no film of him throwing the ball, and so he didn't get a lot of looks from recruiters. And so that's how he ended up at Incarnate Word. Now let's put the Shedeur thing to the side. Just tell me how you feel about the pick.
Well, I love the pick. There's been talk that he is Patrick Mahomes not like Patrick Mahomes.
Sacred ground. Shane. We just did a hot take corner.
I said like.
All right.
Hear me out. Just hear me out.
Okay.
Only because he is known to throw from different angles. He's not this quarterback that just sits there and just kind of throws it from one position. That kind of flexibility. Other than that, it's a good pick.
And it's a great.
That's why I said Patrick Mahomes like.
You got to be careful with stuff like that, but Brian Smith is correct. He throws from all different arm angles. He can move a little bit.
Like yes.
He's not an insane athlete, but he's a good athlete. I got a couple would-you-rathers for you guys. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. They got about 5.5 minutes left. We'll keep you posted on that pick. Oh, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. That means we have a trade at the number 2 pick. The Cleveland Browns have traded out of the number 2 pick.
So
we're going to go to Kyle Johnson here. Kyle, do you have information on this trade? Because the Jacksonville Jaguars have moved up to the number 2 pick in this draft. 1 pick in, and we have a trade. That means the Cleveland Browns have traded down with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars they've needed an offensive weapon. I wouldn't think they would need to trade up to number 2 for an offensive weapon. I'm surprised to see the Jaguars making this deal, but they're here. They've got Trevor Lawrence. You wouldn't think they would go Shedeur here.
No.
You wouldn't think that. Is it possible they're coming for Travis Hunter and they want to play him at receiver? They need a weapon.
Possible.
Are they headed for Travis Hunter? Do they want to play him at receiver? This is absolutely stunning. We did not think we were going to get fireworks in this draft.
Not at all.
And we have got a
Let me jump in here real quick.
by the Jacksonville. All right, Kyle, what do you got? Give us the details here.
So this is coming in from ESPN insider Adam Schefter. He tweeted 3 minutes ago, Browns trading the number 2 overall pick and a 4th round pick, that's their number 104, and a 6th rounder, number 200, to the Jags, as we now know. The Jags trading the 5 overall pick and a second rounder, that's 36th overall, and a 4th round pick, and a pick from the 1st round of the 2026 draft.
So that's the money asset right there. You figured they'd get a 1st round pick for next year.
Sure.
Now, Kyle, you got any other details? Is that everything we need to know in terms of the trade itself?
Yeah, I'm looking into some more reports here. So it seems that the Cleveland Browns now are aiming to select a quarterback in this year's draft or next year's draft. Again, that's coming from ESPN insider Schefter.
I don't want to cut you off, Kyle. It does look like the Jaguars' pick is in, so we're going to keep an eye on the monitor here. This is unbelievable. I think they're going Travis Hunter here.
Has to.
They need a cornerback. They are hoping to get another weapon in this draft. I would imagine they traded up for Travis Hunter. If you're the Browns and there are 2 or 3 marquee players left in this draft, and you just traded to the 5th spot, that means that you are trading out of that sort of marquee area. Now, if the Browns are looking to get a pass rusher, that position is very deep. So they may think they can get one later in the draft.
It's about need, too.
It's about need, too.
I mentioned this at 6 o'clock. I mentioned the fact that, don't be surprised, after the first pick, chaos. I'm not saying it's chaos ensuing, but there would be the talent level that you're seeing in the 1st round. there have been experts who have said you may see better talent in the second round as opposed to the first round.
And I
So
think,
don't be surprised.
and what you're getting at, Brian, is that the talent from pick 5 to pick 45 is somewhat similar.
Exactly.
You don't have a ton of blue chippers in the top 10.
Nobody's standing
Those
out.
elite, all-pro, kind of guaranteed star players. We've got the pick up here on our screen. Kyle, you nailed it exactly. What else do we expect from Kyle Johnson? So the Browns pick up the Jags' first-round pick next year. That's a good asset, especially for a Jags team that has struggled, that has a new coach. That could be a high pick next year, but we're reacting in the moment here, and this is something unique for us. I kind of like it for Jacksonville.
Yes.
I like it for both teams because when you're looking at these mock drafts that were coming out, months in advance before the draft, you were questioning, wait, why are the Browns not interested in getting a quarterback? Deshaun Watson hasn't been able to really play a full season since signing that massive deal. Joe Flacco is getting up there in age. They get a QB3.
Oh, they clearly need a quarterback.
Yeah,
they clearly need a quarterback.
There's no question
Why
they needed
not?
a
Do you
quarterback.
think they're going to go Shadur at 5 here?
I think that if you're not able to get Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, your next answer, if you're a team that needs a quarterback,
There's
has
been
to
talk
be
of
Shador.
it. It makes sense.
has to be Shador.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Oh, man. I thought this was going to be chalk. I cannot believe that we had a trade at the number 2 pick. All right, the pick is in. Let's see what Roger Goodell has to say here. I think this is going to be Travis Hunter. I really do.
Has Eric Armstead on stage with him?
You are building around Trevor Lawrence. You've got Brian Thomas last season, a stud wide receiver. You put Travis Hunter on the other end of that.
That's scary.
Or he can play corner and have an offensive package.
Yeah.
I think that you've really got something special if you can grab Travis Hunter here. I like the aggressiveness from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That could be potentially one of the best receiver duos in the league if they have Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. Then you also have a solid number 3 in Gabe Davis as well.
And it means that you love Gabe Davis.
I do like Gabe Davis.
Shane Fordham never misses a chance to bring up Gabe Davis.
He's head of the fan club.
We are still awaiting the pick. Do not fret. We will let you know as soon as it comes in. And I would love to talk about Travis Hunter with you guys. I do hope that is the pick right here because he is as interesting a player as we've got. Should we zoom out? I mean, we're really focused on Hunter. Could they go pass rusher and get Abdul Carter here?
They could.
You want to build around Lawrence. He needs weapons. They hired an offensive guy to be their head coach in Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be.
Just because it makes sense doesn't mean that they're going to make that decision.
No, that's true. We see nonsensical things in the draft every year. That's why we love it.
I mean, if you have 2 edge rushers like Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, it doesn't make sense to go another edge rusher in Abdul Carter.
It's a great point. They
Get
took
what you need.
Trayvon Walker 1 overall, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Are they really going to use another pick
Get him
on a
help now.
defensive end or an edge type of player?
And when healthy, those 2 are one of the best edge rushing duos in the NFL.
It's
hands down.
coming. Come on already.
A trade up to the number 2 pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars. With a brand new head coach, they essentially restarted their organization around Trevor Lawrence this year, and now they are aggressive on draft night.
Yes.
A lot of Jags fans.
Yep.
It is Travis Hunter is the pick from Colorado. He's got a fresh pink suit on.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Could you rock that, you think?
I could not pull that off in a million years. I couldn't pull that off in my bedroom by myself.
I would get disowned by my family.
Yeah, there is
If I rock
no
that, I would get
chance.
disowned.
So the Jacksonville Jaguars make the first power play of the draft. They give up next year's first to move up and go get Travis Hunter. I really, really like it. I think this kid is special. What do you guys think?
That's a game-winning move. That is a season-winning move. Pulling an aggressive trade-off like that, you're getting just a pure playmaker in the process. Like we said, you're adding him already to an arsenal of weapons, especially in the receiving room. Brian Thomas Jr., Diami Brown, former commander, Gabe Davis, a healthy Gabe Davis. You're adding a lethal Travis Hunter who could come in as an elite receiver on the squad, but also help out their defense as well.
Here's the scary part, though, that I am fearful of. He says he wants to do both. He wants to play both offense and defense. You got to be protective from himself if I'm Jacksonville. Yes, he is known as probably one of the better shutdown corners in college football at the time. And I know he wants to do offense as well. You got to limit the numbers of his offensive snaps and how much he's on the field because you are risking your future if you abuse that.
Can I give two scenarios for you guys? I want you to tell me which scenario you would prefer if you were a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, okay? Scenario number one, full-time wide receiver. He lines up on the outside with Brian Thomas. They try to turn that thing into a high-powered offense. Trevor Lawrence finally reaches his potential.
Sure.
And then he's got a package of 20 to 25 plays where he goes in at the nickel, or he goes in and has a certain package of plays where he plays defense. Or would you rather flip it and have him be a full-time shutdown corner? You put him on a receiver, and that side of the field is good to go. And then he's got a package of 20 to 25 offensive plays. Which do you guys prefer in this scenario?
I think there's no question the defense needs him more than the offense.
Exactly.
You look at the Jaguars defense, they were first in yards allowed. They were first in passing yards, or second in passing yards allowed. There's no question the Jaguars defense needs Travis Hunter more than the offense.
And
on the offense, you at least have multiple weapons.
We're going to bring in Kyle Johnson here.
Yeah,
Kyle
Kyle was waving
Johnson's
at
got
us,
something for us, and then we'll get back into this because I actually feel the opposite of Shane Fordham. I won't yell at you, but Kyle, what do you got?
So this time I do have to side a little bit with Shane on needing the offense a little bit more, but I wanted to point out Jacksonville has the youngest general manager in the entire NFL. Their GM is James Gladstone. He's 34 years old. This is his first ever draft day trade, and he is absolutely shooting for a home run here. So, and you look at this pick, and I want to focus a little bit more on the receiving stats, because something that really pops out to me with Travis Hunter is the progression from 23 to 24. So in 23, 57 receptions, just over 700 yards. In 2024, 96 receptions, over 1,200 yards. So he is also averaging over a half yard more per catch, and he has 10 more touchdowns going from 23 to 24. And sometimes that progression is really what NFL scouts are looking for to show that you're willing to adapt, you're willing to learn, whether it's a new scheme or just trying to improve year over year. So I really think him lining up to receive is going to be a big help for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's a great point, Kyle. Real quick, the Giants pick is in. We know that it takes a while for that to actually be announced, but we want to let you know that we'll announce that as soon as it's up. Brian, we were going to come to you there, and we didn't get a chance to.
No, I honestly, this could be a money decision, too, for Travis Hunter. People forget that part of it. He'll make more money as a receiver as opposed to a defensive back.
Two very well-paid positions.
I get it.
Two very well-paid positions.
If he, as the numbers don't lie, with the way Kyle was describing this, if his numbers were to progress as an offensive player, you'd have to he has a tough decision to make. He can't do both.
I have to break in here.
Oh, please, yeah.
This just in from Adam Schefter. He just tweeted this. The Jaguars are expected to play Travis Hunter on both offense and defense.
And that's
got to balance it.
We don't know if we still, and that's a great cut in there, Kyle. We still don't know if that means a package type of situation or every single snap on both sides of the ball. Now, I will say, B. Smith, a counter is we don't want to become beholden to something because it's what we've always done. If you had told us that a player could do what he did in college, we would have said not possible.
It's a new era.
On the body.
It's a new era.
And so when you have a special athlete, you don't want to discount everything.
Nope.
Could he essentially be full-time at both positions? Your gut reaction is no, right?
My first one would be yes.
He is a generational athlete. We don't use that word lightly on this.
How big is he?
Yep.
5'10"?
He's
6 feet. He's 6 foot.
He's 6 foot.
He's 188.
He's a little light.
That concerns me only because to do both like that, I hope they protect him from himself and limit things, because in the big picture of things, can he do both? Absolutely. But in the bigger picture, how long is that going to take away from the back end of his career? That's the thing. How long do you go with both packages on both ends? Do you do for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
All right, now
that's the thing that you got to just think about.
I see the pick. I have something I want to say to that, but I see the pick.
The Giants pick is in. What we do know for sure is that it's going to be interesting. And for the New York Giants, it is Abdul Carter, the edge rusher from Penn State. That is exactly what we expected in this position. He has been mocked to the New York Giants for some time. Now, there is one thing we do know now, is that number 2 pick was available. So the Giants could have moved up and got Travis Hunter if they felt like he was that much more above Abdul Carter, especially for a team that is good on that defensive line. The Giants have a decent defensive line, especially on the interior.
Definitely.
Kayvon Thibodeau. But they stay where they are. They don't give up any assets, and they grab Abdul Carter. I think it's a great pick. This guy is a dog. Now, I know we've got so many interesting things happening. I know we want to keep talking Travis Hunter, but let's do a little Abdul Carter here. An edge rusher, wore number 11 at Penn State. As you know, Brian Smith, that is a legendary number at Penn State. LeVar Arrington, Navarro Bowman, Micah Parsons have all worn that number 11. They don't give it to just anybody. And what I like about Abdul Carter, and this may be old school, but he played in that college football playoff with injury. He knew he was going to be a top 3 pick. He knew that he was risking potentially messing up his rookie season, messing up his money. And he said, no, I'm going out there to try to win a natty for Penn State. I love that. He is a dog. He's doing a handshake with Roger Goodell. I don't know when they rehearsed that. But Abdul Carter, Shane Fordham, not dissimilar to your position at Hampton University. What do you think?
Not dissimilar, but clearly he was much more efficient at his position than I was.
Slightly.
I think that's the only difference between me and Abdul Carter.
I like when you said that.
One clear difference. But yes, Abdul Carter, definitely the best defender in this class. I mean, as you can see, if you're watching the draft right now, they're showing you his highlights. I mean, the way he can bend around the corner, he is clutch against the pass. He is just a fierce run stopper as well. Anything you need him to do on defense, he can do. He can rush the passer, he can stop the run, but he can also cover as well. His first couple of years at Penn State, back when they had Chop Robinson, back when they had Micah Parsons, 2 guys who are obviously in the NFL right now, he often played off-ball linebacker. He was more so a coverage linebacker than he was a rusher, like what we saw these past 2 years at Penn State.
I'll jump in there. On that same note, Shane, what I read in some of his pre-draft stuff is that he went to James Franklin, and he said, I want to do more. I don't want to just be this. I want to do more. I want to be that queen on the chessboard. I want to do everything you can do as an edge rusher, as a pass rusher. And so that, again, just shows he's got the mentality that you want to go out there and compete on an NFL football field. Now, the Patriots pick is in. We have a couple more seconds to discuss Abdul Carter. Where I want to go is I want to go to the New York Giants here. I want to talk about the Giants on a whole, right? Because the product on the field was not good last season. They went 3-14, 31st on offense, 21st on defense. But what's unique about the New York Giants is their specific type of misery for their fans actually did not come from how their team's product on the field was. It did a little, but it may have come more so from the Philadelphia Eagles, who their division rival signs your best player and then gives him his best season and goes and wins a Super Bowl.
Within the division.
So this fan base is struggling right now. But in letting Barkley go, you were able to fill out some other positions.
True.
Now, here's the problem. And the Patriots pick is in. I'm ready for my hot take corner. But I don't want to do it if we have a pick coming. Do you guys think I have time to hit this hot take corner right now?
Hit it real quick.
Can we do it quick? There we go.
Quick.
Let's throw some hot takes out there. Now, the New York Giants do not have a quarterback. And if you want to win in the NFL, you need a quarterback. Of the last 15 Super Bowl champions, only 4 did not win it with a quarterback that they drafted, okay? That would be the 2015 Broncos with Peyton Manning. That would be the 2020 Bucs with Tom Brady. So those 2 teams were able to sign one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. That's not going to happen very often. Then you've got the 2017 Eagles with Nick Foles. Now, they did draft Foles, but he left and he came back. But remember, the guy they drafted, Carson Wentz, got them to that #1 seed. Then you've got the Rams in 2021 with Matt Stafford. But they traded a quarterback that they did draft in Jared Goff for Matt Stafford. So essentially, to win a Super Bowl in the modern NFL, the pattern is that you win it with a quarterback that you drafted. And so if you're an NFL team that doesn't have a quarterback, if you're the Giants, if you're the Jets, if you're the Browns, if you're the Saints, draft a quarterback as soon as you can and as often as you need to. I don't care if it takes you 3 tries. Keep drafting quarterbacks. Take them all. Take them in the first round. Take them in the 3rd round. Get as many quarterbacks as you can because that is what truly matters in the NFL. So that's the hot take, boys. I'm headed back right now.
No. Stay right there.
What do we got?
Just so I'm clear, are you saying the Giants should have drafted a quarterback over Abdul Carter?
I'm saying the Giants better leave this draft with a quarterback. They better leave this draft with a quarterback. If you think Abdul Carter is a true Hall of Fame caliber generational defensive end, then go ahead and take him. But you better trade back up into the first round.
That's a little more reasonable.
Okay.
That's a little more reasonable.
But there is an additional problem with that.
Yeah.
You have a GM and a head coach who are basically 1 year. That's it. Because they could be gone by the following year. Everybody knows that.
But I'm not talking. Let's not focus on one team.
No, I'm just saying, in their case,
if you're the Jets should draft a quarterback.
They should.
Right now. There's no more blue chippers left on this board. They're gone. Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are gone. Ashton Genty doesn't have the positional value. The Saints and the Jets should not leave this top 10 without drafting a quarterback. I don't care if you overdraft him.
I agree.
I don't care. Or trade down. Trade down, get assets, and then take your quarterback in the 20s if you need to. But don't leave this draft without a quarterback. That's how you win Super Bowls, and that's all we're really trying to do here.
I hope Aaron Glenn does that.
Super Bowl. So, take quarterbacks. The Arizona Cardinals, they drafted Josh Rosen. It didn't work out. What did they do? They came back the next year. Did they say, well, we kind of had this guy? No, they took another quarterback.
Yeah.
And now they've got Kyler Murray, one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the game. Draft a quarterback as soon as you can, as often as you can. That's the take. I just touched the sun, boys.
The logic is there. I almost flagged you because I thought you were about to say, no, that was a terrible pick. They should have drafted Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart over Abdul Carter. I almost would have called you insane on live television.
If they had the 4th pick, okay, you know what? Let's do a slight amendment, right? Can we do an amendment?
Sure.
If there is a blue chipper at a premium position, and you're taking a quarterback who you don't think has a first-round grade, then yes, of course. There are amendments to every great hot take, which that was just now.
We actually said this before the show. This is one of those unique situations with this draft. The best talent is not going to come in the first round. So you can wait if you want to.
Well, I think that the best talent is not going to come in the first round. My point is you don't wait.
No, you don't.
Take the quarterback as soon as you can.
I think it depends. Because you still have, like, you talked about the Browns, you talked about the Giants, of course, a couple of their teams, the Jets,
Saints.
Yes.
If they're
take a quarterback.
Now we know, even though there may not be super elite guys, like there may not be any more Abdul Carters, there may not be any more Travis Hunters, but there are still very good defenders in this class.
Doesn't matter.
Where teams can still get a decent quarterback later in the draft. Like you're telling me,
if you see a guy that you think you can get later in the draft and you feel good about that, then okay, right? But don't pass up on any quarterback that you don't know that you can get later. If you can get a quarterback now who you think could be a starter in this league.
I think that depends on team needs because you also have team
the
needs.
The selection is in. We have
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell. This is not a surprise. This is what we expected from the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots, and we'll get back to my take because I know you want to yell at me. Ooh, you're kind of toasty too, man. I told y'all to go short sleeves. You had me heating up
over here. I was getting frustrated.
Now, Will Campbell is a really interesting pick, and I know we're jumping around a lot here, guys, but this is a really interesting pick because the New England Patriots had one of the worst offensive lines in the league last year, and they needed to come away from this draft with a tackle. They got Drake May back there now, and that offensive line is terrible. And yet, for the first, a bit of a rare occurrence, you don't have any blue chip offensive linemen in this class.
Nope.
Will Campbell has questions about his physical profile, his arm length, and his ability to be a left tackle in the NFL based on his college tape. Now, he's been starting since he was a freshman at LSU. That's pretty good right there.
That's a good resume in and of itself.
That's pretty good right there. Yeah. And he is an extreme. They say his football character is off the charts. But if you have to move him to guard, is he worth the number 4 pick in the draft? In this draft, maybe.
Yeah.
Because who are you missing out on? We don't really know if there's any other studs here. But they picked for need here probably.
Which is important.
Over ability.
Yes.
Shane, Fordham, your thoughts. Will Campbell goes to the New England Patriots.
I mean, overall, I like the pick. They could have went with a Kelvin Banks Jr. They could have went with a Armand Membu. But
so you say you like those guys better than Campbell in terms of O-line prospects?
I'm just saying
those are both tackles. Those are both left tackles.
Yes. I'm saying that I don't think that there is a huge gap.
Right.
I mean, we knew that Will Campbell was the Patriots guy. Mm-hmm. That was the guy that they were targeting mostly throughout, these last couple of months. But I'm saying that they really had their pick. As long as they went offensive tackle, O-line, that was the way to go because, like you said, Drake May is the focus. He is that priority, especially bringing in a receiver one, a true receiver one like Stephon Diggs, giving him a true weapon. They have a decent running back in Ramondre Stevens, you know, kind of trying to balance out that offensive scheme a little bit, trying to make sure Drake May has as much time to make the plays that he's able to make. So overall, I like the move. I think they really couldn't have gone wrong with any of those three guys, Campbell, Banks, Membu, but overall, I do like the pick.
Now, B. Smith, I have a story for you that I'd like you to react to.
Please, go right ahead. Yes.
Bill Simmons of The Ringer and Peter Schrager of ESPN were doing a podcast earlier this week, and they revealed something that I think you are really going to enjoy.
Oh, Lord.
It is foretold, it is rumored that New England Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel likes to get down and dirty with prospects. So if you get a prospect come in, get ready to go one-on-one with Mike Vrabel, head coach of the New England Patriots. He wants to know personally if you're sturdy. He wants to know personally.
How much longer is he going to be able to do that is my question.
It's a good question. He's one of the better players in the history of the Patriots.
That's true.
But he is getting up there in age.
He's a Belichick disciple. Let's understand that because you were questioning whether or not Will Campbell was the guy. He may be a Vrabel guy.
And
people don't understand that.
Word on the street is that he is that they love him in that building for
There's
his
certain
football
characteristics.
character.
He may not have the arm length. He may not have this. But fit, in this case, works for Mike Vrabel.
Now let's talk about the Patriots real quick. 4-13 last season, 30th on offense. The dynasty is officially over, if you didn't notice.
Well, not like anybody's going to feel bad for the Patriots.
And it has been for a couple years now. I think Drake May appears to be a franchise quarterback. I think he showed enough that he's a franchise quarterback. Not a whole lot else going on with that team. They got Milton Williams from Philly. That was a good signing on the interior.
Yeah.
But they need a lot of stuff.
Parts.
And it starts here with Will Campbell. I think Mike Vrabel was the best hire of the offseason. I think he's going to do really good things in New England. Now, the other thing about that New England pick, Shane Fordham, I know you are specifically interested in this, is that was our first theoretical Ashton Jeanty spot. Some in the New England fan base were hoping for Ashton Jeanty. They didn't think Campbell brought enough in terms of being an elite player, and they need weapons. So that was a Jeanty spot. So I think Jeanty Watch has officially started for us here at 13 News Now. Now the Browns pick is in. Remember, they traded back to this 5th pick with Jeanty Watch officially beginning. Give me your Ashton Jeanty stuff. I know you got a lot of it. Talk to me about the kid. Give us some prayer hands and wax poetic about Ashton Jeanty.
Now, my thing about Ashton Jeanty is he's clearly the best running back prospect, I think, since Saquon Barkley coming out of college.
Better than Bijan. Better than Jahmyr Gibbs.
Not Bijan. I think Jahmyr Gibbs. I think you could give Ashton Jeanty a leg up on Jahmyr just because I think
he's right there with Bijan.
Yeah, I think Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Ashton Jeanty is more of an overall balanced back than Jahmyr Gibbs was coming out of college. I think Jahmyr Gibbs was more of a speedster coming out of college. Ashton Jeanty, as you can see, he's Mr. Do Everything. He can be productive even in the pass as well, running routes out of the backfield. He's obviously an elusive back, a guy you have to worry about breaking loose for 50, 60-yard touchdowns.
He is a perfect prospect.
Yes. Yeah.
So Jeanty Watch has begun, but for now, the Cleveland Browns pick is in. They're still trying to get, and it is Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan. So they wait on their quarterback. That doesn't mean they leave this draft without one, but they forego Shedeur Sanders at that 5 spot, and Shedeur could start to slip here. We'll see what happens going forward.
There was talk that would happen.
Now let's talk Mason Graham here. Mason Graham has been a stud since the moment he stepped on campus in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Shane is so upset that they didn't just go Sanders there. And I'll tell you this. I agree with Shane. The Browns, if it's not Sanders, then get Jackson Dart. Get a guy. Draft a quarterback. If it doesn't work out, you're going to be bad anyway. You get another shot next year. But let's focus on Mason Graham. Mason Graham arrived at Michigan, walked onto the field as a freshman, 27 tackles, 2.5 sacks as a true freshman during the prime Jim Harbaugh years. He was a unanimous first-team All-American as a senior last year, and he's been a stud since he got there. Now, he was listed at 320 pounds at Michigan. At the Combine, he weighed in at 296, and he's 6'3". So he's not a physically imposing defensive tackle, but He's got the production. What do we think?
I also noticed that he's a multi-sport athlete, former wrestler.
Okay.
To me, that's a big deal because I think just playing football, it's nice, it's great, but to play multiple sports makes you overall a better player because you've done other sports. It helps with other moves. That's why he's so nimble when he's able to break into a backfield. He's got the wrestling moves. He's got the swim moves that not a lot of people can do.
Very well said, and I see what you're doing, B. Smith, because you're looking at me. You're talking about me. Volleyball and soccer, Shane. Both of them.
Solid.
Multi-sport athlete. Okay, let's get back to the draft. Here.
I'm in a mess
This
here.
isn't about me. All right.
Yeah.
Mason Graham goes to the Browns. I think it's a perfectly fine pick for the Browns. Obviously, they felt like Mason Graham was worth trading out of the Travis Hunter spot.
Sure.
Now, he's also going to get to slot in next to Myles Garrett, which can make a defensive tackle look really good. So I would say maybe look for him to have a productive rookie year because he's got a guy who just eats blockers on the outside.
Exactly.
Is that fair, Shane?
Yeah.
Well, this definitely tells me the Browns must have a lot of faith in Joe Flacco. That's what it is. A lot of faith in Joe Flacco.
And that's the thing.
Because
it means that this year, you essentially are punting on this year if you don't go get a quarterback.
Because there may be talent next year, or they'll just go the free agent route. Somebody's
They
going to be
already
out
did,
there.
and guess who they got?
I know.
Kenny Two Gloves.
I know.
And we loved Kenny Two Gloves in Philadelphia, but he's not going to lead you to the playoffs as far as we know from his resume. So are they building a team? They're going to wait for some of that Deshaun Jackson money to come off the books. Can I tell you guys something?
What's that?
Deshaun Jackson, who tore his Achilles twice this offseason and has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league since he got to Cleveland, $46 million next year, $46 million the year after that. And in 2026, he carries an $80 million cap hit. Now, if you get a rookie quarterback, he's cheap. So you can afford to have both of those guys.
There you go.
You can't do that much work in free agency when you're paying that much money to Watson, and then Garrett, 4 years, 160, starts next year. So you say free agency, but how much room do they have to go sign guys and fill out a roster?
Realistically, they don't. And from a couple of reports I'd seen, they're hoping that someone would be a sucker enough to go, hey, can you take at least $30 million off our hands?
Yeah.
Which they'll look at them side-eye and go, no.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders pick is in. I thought this might be Ginty, but late momentum was not headed Ginty's way. Let's talk Raiders real quick because under the radar, it seems as though Tom Brady has taken control of this Raiders team. Tom Brady is a part owner, and it seems like he is doing and running a lot of the football operations. And they got Pete Carroll in there now as a head coach. They have Geno Smith in there now as your quarterback. They absolutely nailed their draft pick last year, tight end Brock Bowers. You guys want me to blow your mind with some Brock Bowers stats? Can we do a quick? Kyle, am I talking too much? I'm fired up.
Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate.
I need to spread the rhetoric out a little bit. After these stats, you guys are going to fire away. 112 receptions for Brock Bowers as a rookie. That's the most for a rookie of any position. 1,194 yards, most for a rookie tight end.
Nice.
So the pick is in. I think they go pass rusher here. They go Ginty.
Ashton Ginty.
Ginty has been chosen. Ginty watch didn't last very long.
Spent some time here in Hampton Roads as a middle schooler, 6th and 7th grade at Great Bridge Middle School. In his case, my gosh, his former coaches here have nothing but glowing reviews about him, and that whoever got him was going to get an incredible get. Plus, too, the Raiders need offense. They need somebody like him who's multifaceted. So, and that's something that's going to help with Geno Smith. It helps to have a rookie take things off your hands. He can kind of, I'm throwing out another Hall of Fame name here. Because he can catch out of the backfield. Marshall Faulk-like. Shifty, can move. Not like him, but like.
You're not even wrong. I mean, he is a perfect running back prospect. Shane, go off. Your boy is a Las Vegas Raider.
I love this pick, guys. I love this pick. I mean, you have a quarterback in Geno Smith. You have a head coach in Pete Carroll. That means the Raiders are definitely in a win-now mode. This is not a team that's planning for the future. If you pay Geno Smith and you bring in a guy like Pete Carroll, this is a win-now team. They have weapons like Jacoby Myers. They have your boy Brock Bowers, an offensive rookie of the year candidate. This is a balanced offense now.
They got Shane, very well put. They immediately into win now mode in Las Vegas. They are not waiting around. Now we got to bring Kyle Johnson in here. Kyle's got more for us. Kyle, What do you got? Is this about me talking too much, or is this about Ashton Jeanty?
Well, I'll never miss an opportunity to say you talk too much.
Yeah.
I do want to point out and agree with something that Brian said about the offense here, and also something that you were talking about, Connor. You were talking about their top receiver. It's a tight end, and that's great. And Bowers was an incredible first year. But not having a wide receiver be your top receiver is kind of a big deal. And one thing that really interests me about Jeanty's stats when he was at Boise State was not this past year, but actually the 2023 season. So you notice that his reception yards were about 4.5 times higher in 2023 than 2024. He still put up great rushing yards, but he had 43 receptions, over 500 yards in 2023. He averaged 13 yards a reception. And we all remember last year, you were talking about Geno Smith. He had great chemistry with Kenneth Walker and his backfield passes, and those turned into some big gains. So if they can pair Geno Smith with now another rusher who can catch and run after catch, I think that's really powerful for this team. And I just think that something like that really goes under the radar because everyone's thinking, what about the rushing yards? Don't forget about the receiving yards.
Yeah, well said, Kyle.
Something else I think is interesting too, Kyle, is you bring up the backfield. They're pairing him with a guy in Raheem Mostert who is a good piece to have
Veteran
when in rotation.
Yeah.
You know, he's a speedy guy. He's good in the pass. So I think bringing in Jeanty was the perfect pick because you also now have a tandem in the backfield, just like you do in the past with Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers.
And let's talk running backs in general here because you don't see running backs go in the top 10 too often.
Not in these
but we
days.
have seen it with Jeanty. Here's how I see running backs at this point. Tell me if you guys agree or not. I think running backs are floor raisers. So if you have an offense that is ready to produce, there's a good offensive line in place, a weapon or two, a stable quarterback, then you can go and get a running back, and a running back is going to take you to the next level. But if you have an offense that doesn't have pieces, that needs to build out the line, that doesn't know about your quarterback, then your running back is going to come in and he's not going to be able to make much of a difference. He is able to raise you a level, but he is not able to build an offense, right?
Yeah.
So with the Giants, Saquon Barkley is a piece, and he's a really good piece, but he's not able to make them an elite offense. With the Eagles, who are already a good offense, Saquon Barkley can slide in and make them a Super Bowl offense.
I kind of look at it because of Saquon Barkley, and I hope you guys agree with me on this. He has reconfigured how an NFL running back is supposed to be nowadays. Because it used to be you give him a handoff, you get 1,000 yards, you're good. Now you've got to have balance with offenses these days. And we're seeing that. Saquon Barkley to now an Ashton Jeanty. Who's going to be the next one? So now it's a room now for running backs who can now say, okay, this is what it takes for me to really make a way in the NFL. Let me hand it out of the backfield.
Let me do another example. I meant ceiling raiser. I said floor raiser.
Floor
I got
raiser.
typos coming out of my mouth right
Okay.
now. The Falcons draft Bijan Robinson. The Lions draft Jahmyr Gibbs. The Falcons do not have a team ready to succeed. And so Bijan is just a guy there.
Yes.
A guy making big plays, but a guy that's a part of an offense that hasn't gotten much better since he got there.
Yeah.
Gibbs goes to an offense that's ready to be explosive, and with Gibbs there, the Lions offense elevates to that top level.
Sure.
Do you agree with this take? Brian and I are kind of on the same page here.
Yeah,
That's
I think
what
we're
I'm
on the
talking
same page.
about.
Yeah.
Shane,
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to get a little disagreement from you here. What do you got?
I think it really just depends on what your team needs are and who the best available is. Right now, the Raiders went after the best available player, and they do have an offense that has some of the things that you mentioned. They have a stable quarterback. It seems like they have what the makings of a culture, bringing in Pete Carroll, a Super Bowl winning coach. They have tools on offense that stretch the field for a running back like Ashton Jeanty to sort of thrive and succeed in. And we're not just talking about a regular running back here. We're talking about one of those dual threat guys, one of those do everything guys that you were talking about, B. Smith. That is the new wave for running back. So I don't think that logic applies when you're talking about a running back that can do multiple different things.
But that's
Bijan Robinson.
That is Bijan.
But
And he
Bijan
hasn't been able to change the Falcons' offense.
But you can't blame that on Bijan.
I don't, but that's the point. Is running backs don't make enough of a difference on a bad team.
But now that
make
they
a difference
have,
on a good
but
team.
now that they have Bijan, they also have a young quarterback in
Sure.
Michael Penix Jr., who really did make some strides since first playing in that offense.
You see what you're saying.
Well, I also
you
say
had to improve the offense.
But more importantly,
Bijan couldn't do it himself.
But more importantly, it comes down to the coach.
A running back doesn't have enough power. Sorry, B. Smith.
Do they have a coach who can make the adjustments, because the great ones do, to make sure it works? That's the big thing that comes down. You can have all the talent you want to. If you don't have a coach who will adjust accordingly and say, wait a minute, we can't. No, we have a talent here. We need to use it.
Hey,
Bijan Robinson.
Speaking of talent,
you guys do that.
Speaking of talent,
oh, Lord.
Kyle Johnson's got a little something for us. Kyle, talk to us. Who do you agree with here?
Well, I actually wanted to take us back a couple picks. I want to go back to the New York Giants. So we talked about them selecting Abdul Carter. Well, the Giants general manager, Joe Schoen, just said that the team is, in fact, going to pick up Kayvon Thibodeau's fifth-year contract option. So now they're going to have those two playing together to kind of emphasize their, well, I should say, put emphasis on their defense here and the pressure that they want to put on other opposing teams. I just wanted to let you guys know that that is kind of part of the strategy here. They want that dual threat on the New York Giants.
And that's interesting because you still also have Brian Burns. You still also have Dexter Lawrence when he comes back healthy. So it's going to be an interesting sort of
defensive line over there.
I'm cringing here, guys.
From one New York team to another, the New York Jets pick is in. Pick number 7, Armand
That's
Membu.
Great.
I love it.
Yes,
that's who I was
tackle
hoping.
From Missouri, offensive line.
I like that.
For the New York Jets, an offensive lineman.
Justin Fields needs protection.
Okay, B. Smith. Now, B. Smith is a Jets fan, die hard. He's been a fan since Joe Namath was wearing white sneaks.
Emerson Boozer, you name it. Randy Rasmussen.
Is that a real guy? Emerson Boozer?
Yes.
Did he just make that up?
Number 32, look it up.
Talk to us, B. Smith. What do you think about the pick here?
It's something that was needed. But once again, it's Aaron Glenn. It's a new head coach. I like his philosophy. I think he has the respect of that defense. Hopefully, the team itself can keep this team intact until they get a quarterback. Hopefully, we're hoping it's Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if it works out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Only if it works, it'd be great.
That'd be great.
But if not, I hope they have the right fit.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor, Hampton native, is a backup for the Jets. Just letting everybody know that, former Virginia Tech Hokie. But this is one of those deals where, as a Jets fan, I'm used to this. This is going to take some time.
And Justin Fields is one of those players that we all like, and we want it to work out.
We want it to work out.
But the resume just isn't there. It hasn't happened in the NFL for Justin Fields, which is why I think you take a quarterback here. I already hit you with my take corner. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Now hold on 1 second, Shane. The Panthers pick is in. I think you got time.
Do I have time?
Yeah, I think you got time, but just be aware that the Panthers pick is in. B. Smith, you kept it together well with that Jets segment.
I want to cry right now, but
I'm proud of you.
I'm happy for the.
All right,
they also lost Mekhi Becton, too.
Well, but they built out that offensive line in free agency last year, and they had some injuries. All right, Shane Fordham's in the hot take corner.
Yes.
He walked across a boiling bridge of lava to get there. Shane.
Now, B. Smith, I'm very happy for you. I love this pick with Armand Membu. I am. Sincerely.
No, you're not.
Sincerely.
You're not.
I'm very happy for you. I think this was a great pick, but I also think this is great for Justin Fields. I couldn't let Connor bash this man's name without me giving you some context.
No bashing.
Without me giving you some context. The history and the track record that Connor is referring to in regards to Justin Fields was on a minimal Bears team that had no head coaching. They had no offensive line. They hardly had any weapons for him to throw to or use within that offensive scheme. Justin Fields, in his first sort of hospitable situation in Pittsburgh, with a capable coach in Mike Tomlin, with a receiver one to use in George Pickens, with a solid offensive line, with a formidable defense on the other side of the ball, was 6-0. No losses as a Steeler. He's a dual-threat quarterback.
Shane, what happened after Game 6?
Wait a minute. But he didn't get sit because he was bad. He was a winning QB when he was on the field. And
why did he get benched?
Fields, hold on. Justin Fields happens to be the second best rushing quarterback in the NFL. That includes Jalen Hurts. That includes Josh Allen. This man was second in. No, actually,
you think he's a better running quarterback than Josh Allen?
100%.
You think he's a better rushing quarterback than Josh Allen?
that he was second in the league. He was second in the league in rushing yards by quarterbacks behind Lamar Jackson. The only rushing quarterback who had more rushing yards than Justin Fields was Lamar Jackson. This is a talented quarterback who could possibly do great things, and on the same team that has Garrett Wilson, has an Allen Lazard,
he's still talking.
has a better O-line, has a formidable defense also that will be on the field when he is not. So I believe in Justin Fields.
Okay, just stay over there. Don't go back over here.
Yeah, no.
All right, we're not ready to hang out with you again.
We're not done with you yet.
Okay, if you want to make a pro Justin Fields argument, then you go ahead and make it, and we will be happy to listen.
Yes.
But do not stand on the hallowed ground that is the 13 News Now Sports Overtime Hot Take Corner and tell us that Justin Fields is a better running quarterback than Josh Allen. That's crazy. Faster, but Josh Allen is the NFL MVP, and his legs are quite possibly his greatest weapon.
Yeah.
So
greatest weapon is crazy.
He runs.
His legs are not a better weapon for him than his arm. That is preposterous.
When they played the Kansas City Chiefs in the biggest regular season game of the season,
yes,
and Josh Allen needed to make it happen with a touchdown to beat the Chiefs.
Legs.
Did he throw it into the end zone or did he run it into the end zone?
Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Justin Fields, of course.
He's a better running quarterback.
He is a better all-around quarterback than Justin Fields. But there aren't many quarterbacks in the NFL that are more mobile and more athletic than Justin Fields.
That I agree with.
Justin Fields also happens to have
That's not what he said, B. Smith.
No, he thought he was
That's not what he
running
said.
quarterback. I'm like, no.
Justin Fields is unquestionably one of the most athletic mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. But you said he was a better runner than Josh Allen.
And what I will tell you is Josh Allen is a more powerful runner than Justin Fields. But in open field, there's not a lot of guys that can take down Justin Fields in open field. He can either run by you, he can just flat out outrun you in general, but he can also outmuscle you if he needs to.
So can Josh Allen.
Can I say this as just to debate that? Who took over for Justin Fields?
Russell Wilson.
Thank you.
The man was sat down by Mike Tomlin, and he was undefeated.
Thank you.
Listen, we don't want to hate because we've seen Ryan Tannehill struggle to start his career.
I get it.
And then come back and play well. We've seen Sam Darnold struggle to start his career and then come back and play well. We don't want to discount Justin Fields.
Yeah, I hope
we have to deal with the man from this chair.
Yeah, he's like
acting like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
I didn't say that. I said he is definitely up there in terms of
you were sounding like
quarterback.
you are putting him in the Lamar Jackson conversation.
Okay. Come on back over here. Come on back. What I do appreciate is Shane's hot takes never fail to be hot.
Watch the tape. Watch the tape.
Do not tape check us.
Watch the tape.
Do not tape check us on this platform.
Watch the tape.
Now listen.
Justin Fields is up there in terms of his mobility with any other quarterback in the NFL.
Okay, so the Carolina Panthers are on the clock. We're all going to try to move on.
Yes.
We want to say to the people watching at home, we get it. We get how you feel. We deal with it every day.
Every day.
All right, the Carolina Panthers are on the clock. The Carolina Panthers are the closest team in proximity to us that are picking in this top 10. The Carolina Panthers, 5-12 last season. Started 1-7, went 4-5 over their last 9, but they need a pass rusher, and I think this is going to be a pass rusher. I bet you think it's Jalen Walker.
I do. Okay. I do think it's Jalen Walker.
Let's see if that. Oh!
Wow.
Now that seems unnecessary.
It doesn't to me.
Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona, is the pick for the Carolina Panthers. They clearly value Bryce Young. They're going to do everything they can to give him a chance to be a good starter. Shane.
I like this pick. I would have gone Jalen Walker to address, that just abysmal defense that was
from Georgia
last year. Yes, defensive end from Georgia. This defense led the league in passing in passing touchdowns allowed. Well, actually, just points allowed in general. This was by far probably the worst defense in the NFL last year.
Let me add real quick before you continue. 29th in the league in sacks, last in passer rating allowed. They need a pass rush. Continue.
Yes, absolutely. But if you don't go a pass rusher here, this is exactly the pick I would make. This was the number 2 pick, in my opinion, that the Panthers needed. Because if you look at this offense, Bryce Young is clearly their quarterback of the future, especially how he sort of turns it up.
Say it again.
Yes, Connor, I give you credit for that.
Again.
You did call it.
Connor called it.
He did call it. Bryce Young clearly has proven himself to be a playmaker. But if you look at his weapons, Leggett really just didn't do it for me last year. He was their first round pick.
Sound bites.
Yeah, with the sound bites.
Yeah,
but the latest example was his drop against the Birds, which could have maybe kept their season alive for maybe another couple of weeks then, as opposed to when it really ended. But Leggett clearly he's not as potent of a receiver as other receivers we saw come out of the draft last year. Adam Thielen is getting up there in age. Tet is one of those dudes in this draft in terms of receiver. In terms of receiver, I believe it is Tet and Egbuka in terms of being those
Golden
tier one guys.
Texas. Put Golden from Texas in there for me.
If you want to put him in there, fine.
Come on now.
But Tet is among the best, if not the best receiver in this draft class. He honestly reminds me of a Mike Evans, a longer guy who can go up and win
those
50-50 ball situations. And I think this would be a great piece to surround Bryce Young with.
And I think that's the best point that you made there at the end, is that if you are going to go all in for Bryce Young, do everything you can to make his life easy.
Yes.
And if you give him a big receiver that can go up and get it and has a big old catch radius, then that is helpful for Bryce Young. There are questions about Tet McMillan's dedication to football. Does he love the game enough to do what it takes to become an elite NFL player? Those are the questions. We can't answer them. We can't crack open his chest and check his heart, as Tom Brady's dad would say. But those are the questions about Tet McMillan. B. Smith, I have a question for you.
Ask away.
Tet McMillan, volleyball player first.
I love
It was
that.
rumored that in his interviews he said, look, I'm a volleyball player first, football player second. Now that could be positive or that could be negative. How do you see it?
If done right, look at Antonio Gates, was a basketball player. He's a future Hall of Famer now, as far as the NFL is concerned. So guys, Gonzalez? Played basketball at Cal.
Tony Gonzalez.
Played basketball at Cal. So, yeah.
Wait, are you going to leave off your...
I got to mention, too.
Talk to him.
Well, he's not a Hall of Famer. Former VCU Ram, Mo Alley Cox. Now, I believe he'll be coming up on his 9th year in the league.
3 names, each one weirder than the last. Mo Alley Cox.
I want to mention receiver, too, down the road, if Carolina is in position to do so. Be on the lookout for Keandre Lambert-Smith from out of Norfolk, Murray High School. Started at Penn State, finished up at Auburn. So just someone, if they're looking for someone on the cheap, that's somebody who could be effective and help Bryce Young.
I want to re-emphasize.
Just throwing it out there.
Before we get back to the team's picking, Keandre Lambert-Smith was a Maury Commodore.
Yes,
he led them to the state championship in 2019. He was a joy to watch.
Yes.
You watch those games, and I know I can speak for you when I say he just looked different.
He did.
He had a good career at Penn State. He had a good year at Auburn, and now he's probably going to get picked somewhere in this draft, not in this top 10.
No.
But keep your eyes peeled for Keandre Lambert, and keep your eyes peeled for Kyle Johnson. Because he's got some more facts coming for us.
What you got, KJ?
How you doing over there? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while.
I'm doing good. Just resting my voice a little. I can tell yours is getting a little hoarse. But no, I just wanted to mention, we're talking about T-Mac, which, we know T-Macs in sports history have pretty good rap.
Yes.
We just hearing in from NFL insider Ian Rappaport saying that the Panthers quarterback, you're talking about Bryce Young, and T-Mac have already secretly been throwing a little over in LA. So they're already developing.
Secret meetup.
Okay.
Exactly. They're developing a little bit of a chemistry. And, T-Mac had the most reception yards in the history of Arizona. And this is a fun fact. You want to know who he passed for that record? His own coach while he was there. So he had over 3,000 receiving yards at Arizona. That breaks the record there. And so, like you guys said, this is really them investing in Bryce Young. And I agree. I think they need an edge rusher, but this is showing that they're really willing to win on offense and take those shots and just kind of see what happens, see how Bryce Young develops, see if that chemistry that they may or may not have secretly started already develops into something that's really, truly a weapon for the Carolina Panthers.
Help Bryce Young succeed. Another excellent point from Kyle. And the New Orleans Saints here at number 9, their pick is in. Roger Goodell has taken the podium. Let's see what we got for the Saints. The Saints 5-12 last season, started 2-0, lost 7 straight, and it's Kelvin Banks Jr. You've heard Shane Fordham mention it already. They go offensive line here from the University of Texas, instrumental in that program, making the college football playoff 2 years in a row. Shane.
I love Kelvin Banks. As you said, that's one of my O linemen to grab in this top 10.
Sure.
But who are you getting Kelvin Banks to protect? Are you getting him to protect?
Talk to him.
David Carr. Are you getting him to protect Spencer Rattler? It just to me, Shedeur Sanders was the clear pick for them. I mean, the one thing they were missing last year in what was possibly the most explosive offense during that first half of the season was a quarterback. Sure. We know they have speed and weapons, guys like Alvin Kamara, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave. They just picked up Brandon Cooks. To me, the one thing they were missing was a quarterback to really make them a fierce competitor in the NFC.
Let me jump in before B. Smith, because I know he's got stuff to say. I know people at home are saying they got Derek Carr. What about Derek Carr? Now, Derek Carr missed 7 games last season. He had an oblique injury. He came back and he broke his hand. He was out once again. He's dealt with injuries throughout his entire career. Sure. And here's the other thing. Earlier in April, a report from ESPN that Derek Carr has an injured shoulder. That's not an oblique. That's not a hand. We don't know where that injury came from, how it happened, how severe it is.
Yeah.
So Derek Carr, a quarterback who is a little up there in years and has had some really good seasons, now dealing with a shoulder injury. Perhaps this is a sign that the Saints feel as though he's going to be healthy and good to go. Or perhaps they've got an eye on a quarterback later in this draft. Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders still on the board. So
just putting this out there, Shedeur Sanders, because there has been talk. If he keeps falling, where are the Steelers at? 21?
The Steelers are at 21, and I think that's a great landing spot for Shedeur Sanders.
Perfect. Mike Tomlin, Newport News native, William and Mary, former wide receiver. Yeah. A guy who believes if a guy isn't doing well, it starts with the coach.
Yeah.
He always felt like he wasn't doing his job as a coach to get a guy that's better. So I could see the Steelers doing that. Will they move up just in case? I don't know.
And here we are. We come back to the beginning. We had an argument about Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders that we didn't get to finish. So let me speak to some of the things Shane was saying about Shedeur. And I like Shedeur. And I think he can be accurate. He can layer the football. He is as tough as it gets. He's tougher than walking into a pitch meeting on a Monday morning ready to go. Okay? Shedeur Sanders is tough. He appears to be able to read a defense. He is smart. But you spoke to the amount of sacks that he has taken as if it was a positive, as if it shows that with protection, he'd be able to do more. But sacks are not all on the offensive line.
That is true.
Sacks can also be on the quarterback.
That is true.
Can I say Andrew Luck with the Colts? Talented quarterback.
Well,
generational.
Yeah.
But what wound up happening at the end of the day with him?
Right.
He wound up quitting. Because
he wound up retiring. Let's not.
He retired.
Andrew Luck is a hallowed ground in this building.
But everybody knows the tail end of his career, he was taking a lot of hits. He was getting sacked a lot.
Throughout his career.
As much as you love him being able to take a hit in the pocket, that's not what you want.
I will say.
You got to protect the guy.
I will say that is one of the things Shedeur Sanders definitely needs to work on being better getting the ball out of his hands, whether it's just getting rid of it or making throws a little quicker, just not taking negative plays.
He's not a super athlete.
Right. He is not. He doesn't have.
He's an athlete. He's not a super athlete.
He doesn't
have a cannon.
Yeah.
So he lacks some of the physical profile. Yeah. I can see why Cam Ward. To me, Cam Ward is the pick there. Even though I like Shedeur, I think he should be off the board already. Let's pivot here.
Fit should be there, though. Fit should be there.
And we talk about the sacks. Yes. Caleb Williams last season. Number 1 overall pick for the Bears. The Bears are picking here at 10. Their pick is in. Caleb Williams last season, 68 sacks, led the NFL.
Yeah.
He did throw for 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks.
But it comes at a price.
He's got DJ Moore on the outside. We don't know yet how good Roma Dunze is, but they used a high pick on him. Keenan Allen's getting a little older, but he's been a good receiver in this league for a long time. So they've got some weapons.
Makes sense to have an offensive lineman.
It makes sense to have an offensive line. Here's the problem. The top 3 guys are gone. We just saw a run on offensive linemen. Banks is gone. Campbell is gone. So all of a sudden the Bears are up here at 10, and the position that they might need is gone. But they did add Joe Thuney and Drew Dowman in free agency. So they have bolstered that line a little bit in free agency. So I think the Bears are in a really good spot here, and their pick is in. Let's see what we got in Chicago.
I know exactly who it should be.
Who you got? Go ahead.
It needs to be Tyler Warren. It needs to be
I
Tyler
love
Warren.
it.
Okay.
Shane, I love
Needs
it.
to be Tyler Warren,
Warren.
tight end out of Penn State,
Yes.
but we'll see. That's who I would be going here. Offensive-minded coach
twofer.
in Brian Johnson.
You may have just
it's-
redeemed yourself for that hot take
A
corner.
guy who can block and also a guy who can also catch the ball.
Not just catch the ball, but catch and run with
And
the
run
ball.
with it, yes.
I mean, his athleticism is up there with Bowers. It's up there with Kittle. It's up there with Kelsey. I mean, this is a tier 1 tight end we are talking about coming out of college.
They do have Cole Kmet, but Cole Kmet is not a star. It is
Yeah. Right.
possible that Tyler Warren could be a star and a nice release valve for Caleb Williams when he does feel some of that pressure. All right, let's see what we got. Decent little history of tight ends in Chicago. No, Brian? A little Mike Ditka?
Mike Ditka.
Ever heard of him?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got. And then I'll do a little Tyler Warren stats here. Against USC last year, one game, 17 catches, 224 yards, and a touchdown in one college football game.
For a tight end.
On the year, over 1,200 yards, over 100 receptions.
Says a lot.
For a tight end in college football.
You think he'll be one of those guys if he gets into a position? I'm a wide receiver because look at my numbers. Because remember, Kelsey was getting in that situation of, oh, you're a tight end. No, I'm a wide receiver. Money makes a difference in situations like this.
A
Not to get
tight end
economics.
like this. Ooh.
Wow.
Colston Loveland.
Wow.
Tight end.
Okay.
They go tight end, but they skip over Tyler Warren to take Colston Loveland. Now, I did notice Loveland, a lot of momentum towards the end of the draft process.
Sure. Yeah.
I cannot believe they just
This is
passed
shocking.
up on Tyler Warren.
Shocking.
Look at the house. Look at the crib.
Wow.
It's a lot of people
Oh,
there.
my goodness. That's a whole squad. All right, so this
That's
is
cousins,
shocking.
aunties, that's neighbors from across the street. That's everybody.
Yeah, and
Old friends from 5th grade. Yeah.
I think this might be. So, guys, I got a hot take corner, I think.
Oh, boy.
Should we go?
Go ahead,
I got
go
a
ahead,
hot take
go ahead.
corner here. And I cannot believe Tyler Warren just got passed over. But with the moment that we
Already?
just had, don't pull the flag out yet, B.
Oh,
Smith.
sorry, my bad.
Started.
Yeah, I get,
Now, listen, this is 13 News Now Plus. But on 13 News proper, on ABC 13, we have got some really good reality TV shows. American Idol, one of Shane's favorites. That guy listens to Kelly Clarkson every morning before work. Okay?
Sure do.
We've got The Bachelor, high drama, long-running franchise. I know at my house, not a Channel 13 show, but Love is Blind is on quite a lot. Do I complain about it? Yeah. Do I get sucked in? You bet I do. There's some good reality television out there. But my hot take is there's no better reality television than the cutaways to the living rooms of NFL draft prospects. Where is mom sitting? Where's the girlfriend sitting? Where's dad sitting? How many cousins are we? What kind of ambiance do we have? Who is side-eyeing who, right? Where's brother at? Does he wish that he was getting a little more attention? Is he coming up? Are we nervous? Do we have refreshments? What do we got? The best reality television on the planet is going right into the living rooms of NFL draft prospects. I want a hot mic in there, and I want to spend more time in people's living rooms. That's real reality. Doesn't get any more real than that. Fellas, what do we think?
I'm liking it. Because
You guys aren't enthused by this.
Well, it's kind of
Shane.
subdued.
Shane,
It's
well, you
subdued.
got a better reality TV show?
It's more.
Are you an amazing race guy?
In this case, it's subdued, but in most cases, it's like
Take me to the
people
living
are diving
room.
over the couch and stuff like that. But
That's reality.
It's subdued.
You know, The Bachelor, they go on the hometown dates, and it's
Yeah.
like kind of produced. You don't really know if it's real. This is a hometown date, but for real.
Yeah.
And on the biggest day of that kid's life.
Yes.
I will say it is very compelling seeing that sort of rewarding moment in real time.
Yes.
Seeing these guys who have worked their whole lives to get to this moment, guys who, choose to watch it at home, just being surrounded by their families
Yeah.
and loved ones as opposed to being there in this actual draft environment, being there at Lambeau Field. It is a very rewarding thing to
You
see.
know what's sad, Shane, is that's not even my favorite part. I'm trying to catch on to the family dynamics
honestly-
when they go in there.
Look, for
Are
me,
you trying
know
to
what
see
I mean?
Oh, you're all about the drama. You're all about the family drama.
for
Come
me,
on.
you know what's more exciting?
What's that?
Selection Sunday during the college basketball
No,
season. We're not in it.
You're like, yeah, duh.
There's nothing better than that.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
we all love Selection Sunday.
No, I'm talking about the reaction from the teams themselves. It's better
No,
than.
but there's no drama in those. They're all cheering. They're all happy.
yeah,
They're a team.
but still, it's better. It's more
Who
dramatic.
gets the first
Yeah.
hug? When a player gets picked,
it's mom.
I want to see who gets hugged.
It's mom.
Sometimes it's mom.
No, it's usually
not
mom.
always mom, B. Smith. And that's when you start to get the real drama going.
Being a dad, dads know mom always gets the first hug.
That's
Am I
why
correct?
it's interesting.
That
If
is-
the
that
mom
is-
doesn't
Thank
get
you.
the first
That
hug,
is-
then
that
what's
was good
going
for-
on? All right, let's get back to football itself. Let's get back to football itself here. I wanted to mix it up for you guys. I could tell by how much Shane was using his hands that he didn't like that one. He was really trying to make it happen and agree with me the best that he could, but that's fine. Now, there is something we need to talk about here. Is that we came to do the first 10 picks
Yes.
of this draft on this live stream.
Yes.
Right? The 10 picks are up. The 49ers are up to pick.
Wow. Where's the time
Now,
gone?
do we want to do a little recap? Should we do some discussion? Do we have
Sure.
time? Producers, hop in the ear if you guys got a date or something and you need to leave. Okay, so let's do a little recap here.
Yes.
Cam Ward went first. We all expected.
Not
that, right?
surprised. Yeah.
Okay, and then number 2, the Jags trade up and they go and get Travis Hunter.
Which there was talk that it could happen.
Yeah,
It
there
could
was.
happen.
Stunning.
There was talk.
I was honestly expecting the Raiders to trade up as well because they were very, very persistent in Ashton Genty. We were told they were going to trade up to possibly number 2 with the Browns, but seems like the Jags beat them to it, to trading up with the Browns, getting Travis Hunter. But I will say, in regards to our earlier Travis Hunter debate,
Yes.
you know, obviously Travis Hunter is going to be a key piece for this team no matter where he plays. But I do think it would be important for him to get at least some defensive reps. I mean, like we talked about before,
agree.
this is a Jaguars team that does have a talented pass rush duo in Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. But clearly the secondary is not there. If you're add a piece to the secondary, a secondary that was the worst against the pass, an overall defense that was the worst against the pass, you have something there. You create a little more of a balance.
Let me jump in. And you make a lot of great points when it pertains to the Jaguars' needs. Here's my thing with that pick. I don't think it matters what the Jaguars need. I think you need to figure out that for the next 10 to 15 years, what is the best situation for Travis Hunter? What is going to help him become the player that brings the most value that he can to an NFL team, regardless of what you have right now? Because what you have right now is a team that was bad enough to go 4-13 and pick in the top 10 of the NFL draft. So you need to figure out what is best for Travis Hunter, and then we build around him and Trevor Lawrence. And if we feel like what's best for him is more time on offense, then we go and we make a defensive draft pick next year.
Exactly.
But go ahead, B. Smith.
No, but I agree. I also believe the fact that you have to figure out what is the best fit in this situation because, granted, he's a great defensive player. Maybe that's something that you need right now. But offensively, you got to balance this out because, I mean, do you go to a Deion Sanders, for example, just to say, hey, what do you – because he worked with him. What fits him best in today's NFL? Because you don't want a kid – because you talk about it being 10 years. How will he survive 5?
But you know what he'll tell you, though. Deion Sanders has been one of the biggest advocates for letting
every snap.
Yeah, he's
Play
been
him
one
every
of,
snap.
But at the same time, and
It's
you said this
different times,
before,
though.
Connor. You said this before. We cannot judge him based on what we have seen.
No,
we have
no.
never really. We've only seen a player like this once before,
Yes.
and that was Deion Sanders.
Yes.
Correct.
We haven't really seen much players like this that are able to do it both ways.
Exactly. We have something we've never seen before, and we need
Exactly.
to approach it that way. Not try to put him into a box that
Nope.
we've seen before.
Don't wanna
but
do
say,
that.
go ahead, young man. Let's see what this turns into.
Yeah.
While keeping him safe from injury. Now,
Yeah.
can we do some would you rathers?
Let's do it.
I got
Sure.
some would you rathers
Yes.
for you right now.
Let's do it.
Okay. First and foremost, would you rather have Cam Ward or Caleb Williams going into next season?
Caleb Williams. Oh, wait, are we saying like rookie versions of themselves? Like
No,
in
as
this-
it stands right
it
now.
stands? Oh.
Would you rather enter next season if you're the Titans with Caleb Williams or Cam Ward?
Caleb Williams. It's not even
Williams.
close.
I agree with Shane.
Yeah.
B. Smith?
Caleb.
Okay.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Full agreement. Look at us, guys. Look at us. That's what I'm talking about.
It rarely happens, but yes, yes.
The 49ers pick is in. We got another would you rather. Wow. Okay. Michael Williams,
there we
edge
go.
from Georgia.
Yes.
Good pick.
Michael Williams is a rangy,
Yes.
explosive player from Georgia.
6'5", 260.
Yes, sir.
Great running mate to Nick Bosa.
265, and he's got 34 3/8 inch arms. This guy is long. He was 7th nationally in his high school class, but production on the field, you could see more.
Yeah.
We don't know what it's hard.
He's an
we don't
All-American.
know his role
But his
in
talent.
the Georgia defense.
He was an All-American as a freshman. Part of that national title team.
National title.
He, all indications, he can line up on different parts of the field.
Yeah. And
So-
how strange is it that the Niners went from having one of the best D-lines in the league to having to draft a guy in the top
Exactly.
11 in the
Yeah.
span of a year?
Yeah.
But I think with Michael Williams, with Nick Bosa, I don't think it'll be long before we are talking about them in that conversation again.
You think they're
I
gonna
don't think
get
it'll
back?
be long. I think they definitely could, especially because they have a secondary and linebacking core with Fred Warner, headlined by Fred Warner, that can support that. That'll force the quarterback to hold on to the ball for just a second longer, giving Bosa and Williams a little more time to get to that quarterback.
Very well said. We just went back-to-back picks. They're starting to move a little faster as we get deeper into the draft. The Cowboys have made their selection. We'll let you know when that comes through. Let's do another Would You Rather in the meantime.
Yes.
Would you rather have Cam Ward or Drake May going into next season?
I'm leaning towards Drake May.
I'm Drake May as well. It
I'm
seems
leaning
like Shane
towards him.
is shaky.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it a little bit, but I just think Drake May is more talented, therefore he has a higher ceiling just
Yes.
based off of what we've seen.
And I think if Ward was in last year's draft, he would have been the 4th quarterback selected.
Some have said 7.
I think Daniels, May, and Williams all go
Yeah.
above Cam Ward. If
I
he's
think
in last year's
JJ
draft.
does too.
Yeah.
I think
JJ
JJ
might.
does too.
You're not wrong. JJ
think JJ
might.
does
I
too.
personally would have gone Cam over JJ, but I think some NFL teams may have picked JJ over Cam.
So-
Okay,
Yeah,
last
some
one.
like
Would
that,
you rather have Cam Ward or Bo Nix?
Whoa.
That's the best one.
Not
That is
knowing
the
what's
best
going to
one.
happen?
Come on now.
That's the best
Took
one.
me a while to get cooking, but
Wow.
I'm gonna go
Not
Bo.
knowing what was going to happen, I'd still probably lean towards Cam Ward.
Wow, really?
Well, not knowing, because nobody knew he was going to do what he was going to do with Denver.
Well, he's not saying. You're saying as of
As
right
is
now.
right
we're here.
now.
Right
we've
now,
already
going
Bo Nix.
into next
Bo
season.
Nix, yeah, Bo Nix. Wouldn't even think twice about it. I thought maybe draft a rookie year, but nobody knew Bo was going to do what he did. But
You don't get to take Sean Payton with you.
that's fine.
I'm going Cam Ward here.
You're going Cam Ward.
I'm going Cam
Tell
Ward
us
here.
why you would take Cam
So
Ward.
I
Tom.
like what we saw from Bo Nix. He was put. The Cowboys pick is in, by the way. Well, let's see some headgear from the Cowboys fans
Wow.
here. Tyler Booker, guard out of Alabama. So the Cowboys go guard
Something
at
they need.
pick number
Yeah.
12,
Reinforcing that O-line.
reinforcing the O-line. Jalen Walker still on the board here.
That's surprising.
Yes,
Yeah.
the edge rusher from Georgia, Jalen Walker, still on the board as Booker goes to the Cowboys. Now let's get back to this if we can. Sorry, Cowboys fans. Bo Nix had a good year. He
Yep.
was set up to succeed. He
was.
had one of the best offensive minds in the NFL coaching him, and I was super impressed by what he did. Going into the draft, I didn't feel as though he was going to be a successful NFL quarterback, and I don't want to be married to that when we've seen that he can do other things, but I think it's reasonable to question his ceiling. He's about 33 years old already.
It's not 33.
What did he play, 7 years in college? How
Probably
much?
5 or 6 tops.
Right,
Yes.
and he's clearly accurate, and he
Yes.
clearly can work that offense. But in terms of a ceiling, I think Cam Ward has a higher ceiling, and I think Cam Ward could be successful more places in more systems. And so that is why I would go Cam Ward, despite the fact that we saw Bo Nix do it, which kind of goes against my ethos a little bit.
For Bo Nix believers, I always say stop knocking age if a quarterback's too old for college. Stop doing that. Because people complain about talent, but they don't have enough experience. Well, here's a quarterback who's got experience. I don't care how much experience you have in college, and you knock the person, and then they do well.
But in terms of a ceiling, it does matter.
I get it, but up to a point. Once again, we talk about fit as opposed to talent. Sometimes you need a little bit of both.
All right,
And
next-
I think he's got that.
Very well said, and we'll see what happens. I can't believe how good Bo Nix was last year. Maybe I'm just still trying to recover from that.
He's still recovering.
Now, no disrespect to anyone who's a fan of this team watching, but can you guys make a reasonable argument for any team being in a worse position going forward than the Cleveland Browns?
Wow. No.
And can I
Besides the
remind
Jets,
you
maybe.
that the Cleveland Browns have not won a division title since 1989?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
Bernie Kosar? No,
talk to him.
possibly. I feel the Browns.
Is any team in a worse position?
You know, I can't say as a Jets fan because we have Aaron Glenn now, but you pray it doesn't mess up. But yeah, in their case, when they signed Deshaun Watson, for that contract, I thought that was huge mistake. huge mistake because now they're paying the price for it for Browns fans who don't deserve that. But yeah, at this point in time, it's what do you do? What do you do?
What do you do?
I think an argument could be made that the Cowboys are in a possibly worse position than the Browns. Not because of roster.
Oh,
or
here we
anything like
go.
that. I think it's mainly just because of management. Like the Browns
Now,
are.
just
At least,
say
I think that is the.
No, just say the owner.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Jerry Jones.
I shouldn't have doubted
There's
you. That's-
nobody else.
Go ahead.
I think that is where they are at a disadvantage because clearly Jerry Jones has shown a habit of not being willing to adapt.
Right.
The best GMs in this league have been willing to adapt. Even the Browns, they were willing to take a shot on Deshaun Watson, who, was still kind of going through injuries at the time they offered him money. They were willing to make a big-time gamble for big-time results. Jerry Jones has not shown to do that. During the free agency, their only notable signing that they made was signing a long snapper, which not knocking the long snappers of the world. Shout out Brandon Richards, who is from ODU, who is in the draft, who was draft eligible this year. But for that to be your only notable signing on a team, as much as they struggled last year, that is an intentional and just blatant ignorance to just bettering your team.
Cowboys have a quarterback.
They have a quarterback. They have a decent O-line even without Zach Martin. As you see, they drafted a guard today to replace Zach Martin.
But they have a quarterback who is good, but really good.
But you know what a quarterback's worst enemy is? It's management that doesn't want to give him the necessary tools to succeed.
He's got CeeDee Lamb.
He almost didn't pay CeeDee Lamb.
Can we say
he almost didn't pay CeeDee Lamb? He didn't have enough money. He didn't pay DeMarcus Lawrence. There's no telling how bad this organization could be years down the road. Not because of the players, not because of the talent that they have, not because Dak is their quarterback, but mainly because of management.
This
is a team that hasn't.
It's called Jimmy Johnson syndrome. Ever since Jimmy left, it's never been the same. I can put this team together by myself.
From 21 to 23, which was just 2 years ago, they won 12 games for 3 seasons in a row.
That's nice.
In 16, they went 13-3. They were the best team in the NFC. So it hasn't.
But weren't they one and done?
But the Browns are consistently one of the worst teams in the NFL.
I have a question. Kyle, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Statman, would you mind telling me how many playoff games have the Cowboys won since the Dak Prescott era?
I'll get back to you. I do need to do some digging on that. I've been looking into the Cleveland Browns, and I know that we want to talk a little bit about the Commanders' needs too moving forward before we wrap everything up. Let me get back to you, Shane, on that. Cowboys since the Dak Prescott era.
He set you up, Kyle.
Now
he knows the answer.
Now, Kyle, here's what I know you do know. Do you know how many NFC Championship games they have been to since 1995? Kyle, do you want to answer this one, or do you want to let me go? You want to throw me the lob, or you got it?
I feel like you've got it. I think that I also think that the viewers can tell where you're getting at.
Man.
Okay. The answer is 0. This Cowboys team, no matter how many games they win during the regular season, no matter how talented this team is, no matter how many All-Pros they have or Pro Bowlers they have on both sides of the ball, after that, where have they been?
The Browns.
I said since 1995. No matter how talented their team is, they cannot get past that hump in the playoffs.
But the question
and do you want to know what the common denominator is? It's the management.
But the question is it sadder to be a Browns fan? You said that they haven't been to the conference championship game since 1995. The Browns haven't been since 1989, and they lost that conference championship game.
But here's the thing.
Cowboys won the Super Bowl.
But here's the thing.
I say
At least Cowboys fans.
I say it's the Browns.
We've been on the same page every night.
I say it's the Browns.
See, here's my thing. At least Browns fans know what to expect. The Cowboys organization gets their fans' hopes up every year.
Every year.
So at least Browns fans, there's some consistency.
Okay.
I would prefer consistency than a little dash of spice followed by immediate disappointment.
So what you're telling us is you prefer consistent losing over sometimes winning?
Exactly.
Because at least,
what are we talking about here?
But we know with the Browns, at least there's hope because they've been losing without having a consistent QB. They don't have we didn't expect the Browns to make a serious playoff run with how Deshaun Watson looked on the field. The Cowboys fans expected for the Cowboys to get to the Super Bowl every year because of Dak Prescott.
Let's move on.
But you do realize
Points made.
last time they won a championship, the Browns, a guy named Jim Brown was the running back.
Yeah.
That's the last time.
But see, that is why I
Just
thought
saying.
it was crazy that
You
they
just
did
have a
not
different
go.
mentality than we do. You,
Yeah, exactly.
you would just rather be in the gutter every year.
Every year.
But what I'm saying is, I think the Browns have a little more hope because they did what they did without having true direction in the QB room. If they get that,
They remain directionless in the QB.
Rudderless.
What
I
is
believe
the
term
argument here?
It's
All right, let's move on.
rudderless.
Let's move on.
But yes,
Points
yes.
made.
but
Points
this
made.
year could have been the difference, is what I was saying. If they went with
lot of
Shador.
could have beens. A lot of
No.
could have beens.
No.
Okay, this is a weird one. All right. Would you rather have Travis Hunter or the rights to draft Arch Manning when he comes out?
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
with the current team as it's built right now? Or wait, are we saying just, is there a team where, like, what is it, does it matter or just in general?
No, I want you to be a quarterbackless team.
Okay.
Let's say you're the Browns. You're the Browns. Would you rather have Travis Hunter now or Arch Manning in 1 or 2 years? And we've never seen Arch Manning start a full season.
Exactly.
Real quick, the Dolphins pick is in. They take Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, another Michigan defensive lineman. That team was loaded on the defensive end. They just couldn't get their offense right last season.
Struggling a little bit.
Dolphins got a lot of needs. They need to nail this draft if they want to get back to a competitive level.
This is a good pickup, though, just real quick. They give a running mate to Jalen Phillips, who went out with an Achilles tear last year, but now reinforcing this D-line. A D-line that really had one of the best pass rushing capabilities a couple of years ago, but just through injury. So this is a big deal for Miami. But answering your question.
Travis Hunter or the rights to Arch Manning, who we think is going to be a franchise quarterback, but we really don't know.
What an indication for me, because your last name is Manning, can you at least get into the Heisman conversation?
He hasn't been a starter.
I'm just saying. That's why I'm saying. Get at least in the.
You're not willing to bet on the promise.
No!
I'm going off of pure gut feeling here.
No!
I'm going with Arch Manning.
It's Arch Manning for me.
I'm going with Arch Manning.
You saw my hot take corner. It's Arch Manning for me.
No.
Especially because his ceiling seemed so high when he was on the field, seeing the things he was able to do, making plays with his legs, making plays with his arm.
And if you could.
Can I do a quick hot take?
You haven't done one yet. Get over there.
Let me do one. I'm
Join the party.
I'm going to join the party. All right. This Arch Manning conversation. Talent he is. His last name is Manning. That is fantastic. That is great. I wish him well. But if you were to ask me, my humble opinion of taking Travis Hunter, who has proven who he is on both sides of the ball, and he wins a Heisman, I'm taking him in a heartbeat and wouldn't even think twice about it. Until Arch Manning at least gets into the Heisman conversation. Just get in the conversation. You don't have to win the Heisman. Your last name alone will say a lot. But as we said, he hasn't played enough. So my hot take is get into the conversation first, and then we'll talk.
Is it fair to say your hot take is too much hype?
Yes. Yes, it's too much hype. I'm like, we've been hearing for the last, 2 years now?
Yeah.
2 about him, and he's yet to crack the lineup. We've seen freshmen
For sure.
come through and do well. Caleb Williams, one of them, I believe.
Caleb Williams is a fantastic freshman at Oklahoma. Yes, absolutely.
Arch Manning, do that for this year. Get into the conversation where he's throwing for whatever amount of yards and touchdowns and get into the Heisman conversation. Right now, it's not up for debate. No.
Do you think he can do that? Like, are you saying you doubt his ability? Like, do you not believe that Arch Manning could be or will be that quarterback in a couple years?
Anti-nepotism.
No, it's not anti-nepotism. It's not.
You're pro-nepotism?
No. Well, a little bit of pro. Just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. No, we've been hearing about him the last 2 years, correct?
Correct.
Right. Why hasn't he broken through in 2 years?
Because he decided to stay at Texas.
He's been Quinn Ewers' backup.
He decided
it's
to
a
stay
good
at
hot
Texas.
take. B. Smith, we got to pick. We got to pick in here.
Well, let me get back. Hold on.
I'm all back. We'll get back to it. I hate to interrupt your hot take.
What we got here?
Cooking. Tyler Warren goes.
Love this.
Drop
Nice.
for
Penn State.
Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State, considered to be one of the most talented players in the draft, regardless of position. It's a stunner that he's the second tight end taken. And he drops to 14, but he goes to the Colts, where Anthony Richardson is trying to make it work as the quarterback there. Value pick for the Colts.
Yes.
Steal for the Colts. I mean, this is honestly a very.
There's the living room.
There you go.
There you go.
You got your drama. You got your family dynamic.
Now this looks like a pretty tame one, if I'm being honest. No snacks?
He is a Virginia native, Mechanicsville, just in the Richmond area.
Shout out Commonwealth.
Right up the road, so yes. But yeah, I mean, it's I'm happy. I mean, that's good celebration.
He is joining a very talented and, frankly, young offensive group in Indianapolis, obviously headlined by Anthony Richardson, a top 5 running back when he is healthy in Jonathan Taylor, an up-and-coming receiver in Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, this is a squad. You add Tyler Warren to this mix. I mean, Tyler Warren will have an immediate
What's
big
the
role.
key? What is the key?
The key to what? Their success as an offense? I would say Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson has
Anthony
got
Richardson.
to play well. We don't know what
He's got to
this
play
guy
well.
is.
He's got to play healthy.
But it's easier
He
for
has
him to
not
play
been
well.
good.
No, it hasn't. But it's easier for him to play well now that he has another aerial weapon like Warren.
Absolutely,
Yes.
1,000%. And it's kind of the Bryce Young thing, right?
Yes.
Look, we're all in with this quarterback. Let's set him up to succeed.
Yeah.
With some weapons. I don't want to go past your hot take. Very well done. It was indeed spicy.
Well, I'm just saying.
Give Arch a chance, okay?
I mean, even Anthony Richardson got more playing time than Arch.
Now we got
I mean,
one.
Come on.
We got one pick left before we quit. We're going to finish after pick 15. But while we're waiting for the Falcons to pick, let's talk about these Washington Commanders, a hometown team here in Hampton Roads, and could not have come away from next year more impressed. Blew every expectation out of the water that we had. Remember what I said about the quarterbacks?
Yes.
They got one.
Oh, did they have one?
They got
Oh,
one.
my gosh. And the team itself is set up for the next decade.
They're a little old to me. I'm surprised to hear you say
But
that. They're a little old to me.
they'll plug in as they go.
But you know what they got to do to plug in? They got to nail this draft and
They will.
next year's draft.
They will.
I mean, nail it.
If this is any indication of what's happened over the last couple of years and what they're doing, they've got a good balance of young guys with veterans. You can now segue to certain guys to work your way out, draft new ones, young ones,
Drafting
veterans
new
coming
ones.
through, and then you play. The way you're supposed to set up your system is essentially this: get young guys in, mix them up with veterans, let them. Your cap is low. Start at the quarterback, much like what they got right now. For the next few years, you can segue stuff out for veterans, and you're doing great, in my opinion.
To segue that stuff out, you got to get that stuff. There are needs in this draft. I think you and I have talked about this. We agree. Defensive end, they got to get a pass rusher.
100%.
They got to get a pass rusher in this draft, in my opinion. And the good thing is, this is a great draft to need a pass rusher.
Exactly.
There's a ton of pass rushers on this team.
Honestly.
You love James Pierce from Tennessee.
Woo! If you ever remember a guy named Javon Curse, they used to call him the Freak, drafted by Tennessee out of the University of Florida. Pierce reminds me of him. He's scary good in my opinion. Oh my gosh!
And the Commanders are
Former
picked
Eagle.
29. I think
If I'm
Jalen
them,
Walker's going to be
definitely.
gone, but he's still on the board as well.
definitely get Pierce.
And there's a lot of. I know you
Definitely.
got a guy that you like that you think combines traits and production.
I have a couple of guys.
Okay,
that I
let's
like.
give us
But
some of these guys.
One notable guy is Donovan Ezeraku out of Boston College,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
If Jalen Walker is gone by the time the Commanders are on the board, the world is not over because Donovan Ezeraku still exists. Now, this is a guy who I really think could be taken maybe at 17, 18 overall.
Sure.
A lot of teams need an edge rusher, and this is definitely, in my opinion, really the second best edge rusher in this year's draft class behind Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
Even I would take Donovan Ezeraku before Jalen Walker and Michael Williams, me personally, just from watching his tape, seeing how he produces on the field, matching the intangibles with the production.
And you know what else? The Commanders would not have to go far to scout Mike Green, Lafayette
just
High
bringing
School
him up,
grad
yes.
out of Williamsburg. Played for UVA for a little bit.
Goes to
left
Marshall.
after some issues. Goes to Marshall. Dominant at Marshall. We saw him play Old Dominion last season, and he was a beast. So Mike Green could be there for the Commanders for that edge rush situation. And then Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M has a lot of talent as well.
Yes.
Do you have another edge rusher for us? Because I want to get to more needs for the Commanders.
I actually have a different need.
Okay.
I think one name we haven't seen yet is Will Johnson out of Michigan.
So
cornerback.
cornerback.
Yes, you get another premier cornerback to pair with Mike Sanderstill, a guy who really could have been a defensive rookie of the year candidate last year.
And Marshawn Lattimore.
Yes, and Marshawn Lattimore. This would be an answer for Marshawn Lattimore. You know, Marshawn Lattimore at his best, we know, is one of those guys in the NFL in the cornerback conversation. But as we saw last year, he was dealing with injuries. He's obviously not getting any younger. So this would not only be a great addition for the now, but also for the future, putting him in a position where he would be able to learn from a guy and a vet like Marshawn Lattimore.
I
I love the
absolutely
size
love
too.
it. He's
6'2",
big.
185,
Big.
190. finally a big cornerback who could cover.
Here's the thing. I don't think he's going to be there at 29.
May not
I mean,
be.
he could.
Yes.
We haven't seen a corner go yet in this draft. Anytime you have Jaden go ahead.
Well, I'm saying it is possible that we could see the Commanders trade up. I have been hearing trade rumors about the Commanders trading up. I mean, a lot of teams have talked, multiple teams have talked about trading up, but I mean, there is a potential of them trading up. But then also just how deep this class is, he could slip. He could slip.
Which we talked about the talent. Yeah. Remember, first round you may be out of it. Second, third round, it's going to change. So you may get exactly what you need, and it may not cost you as much. Not to think about the finances of things when it comes to NFL teams, but if you're a GM, you're happy.
Yeah.
You're thrilled that you're getting guys like that in the second or third round or 4 through 7, because now you can just kind of pick and choose what you want.
And of course, they traded for Laramie Tunsil this offseason, left tackle from the Houston Texans, one of the best in the league.
Yep.
So they got him, but when you have a rookie quarterback, it's never a bad thing to add offensive linemen. So picking an offensive lineman in this draft, I have no issue with. Let me toss a position out there for you guys. Very deep in this draft, running back. Eckler is aging.
Yep.
Brian Robinson is good, but I do not think he is a 3-down stud running back. Could you get an Amarian Hampton? Could you get a Travion Henderson? Go get a stud running back. Travion Henderson can pass block like crazy.
He definitely can.
So he can help protect Jaden Daniels, and you get another weapon for that offense. Terry McLaurin had a big year. Maybe Ibuka, if he's there. Go get another weapon on the outside to go with McLaurin and Deebo Samuel, as we saw the Panthers do with their young quarterback. You know, do you go and do the flashy thing and get one of those skill position players?
Well, if it's a – go ahead, B. Smith.
I was going to say, if it works, I would say, yes, you do. It adds more depth to your running back room, but
you don't know if it'll work. Do you think they should do it with the risk involved?
it's got to be the right person.
Of course, you always want it to be the right person.
It's got to be fit, too. But Brian Robinson, I'm not ready to get rid of him. You can't.
You don't need to get rid of him.
You can't teach that kind
You're
of size.
talking about reinforcing the backfield.
I'm talking about go get you a starter, a back who you're going to hand that ball off to, who's going to be a really productive every down back. I think Brian Robinson is awesome. He's really, really good, and he's a super high-character football player. Is he a running back who you can build an offense around to supplement
yes.
your rookie quarterback?
I say yes.
You say yes.
For now. In the short term, yes. Because if it doesn't work out, I'd say still draft him, but let him sit or let him work behind it. Because if it doesn't work out, or let's say Brian Robinson's contract's up, because once again, the finances play in this. What's this, his 4th year? And people don't forget how his career started as a rookie. He got robbed. He got shot.
Yeah, it's a great
point. And came back from getting shot twice.
Right.
Yes.
So he's now coming into his own. So, no, I don't give up on him.
I'm not giving up on Robinson.
Yeah, no.
But would the backfield work better if you get someone to learn under Eckler and then you move into a shared backfield with Robinson and one of these guys in this deep running back draft? Maybe go get Virginia Tech's Bashal Tootin in the third or fourth.
That's another round.
I was thinking about
it doesn't
Bashal
cost you anything.
I do think that just based on ability, I think Brian Robinson Jr. could be a lead horse, but he is a guy, even though it's uncontrollable.
There goes Jalen Walker to the Falcons. One of those guys we were hoping would drop to the Commanders is gone. Continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
But I was saying I do think because of the injuries, I do think it would be that wouldn't be a bad decision at all to go with a running back as deep as this class is. You mentioned Bashal Tootin, perfect replacement for an aging Austin Eckler.
Right. I don't want to get rid of Brian Robinson. He's a really good football player. 799 yards, 4.3 a carry, 8 touchdowns last year in just 14 games. So
KJ's he's notifying us that something happened.
Kyle, one more Kyle, and then we're getting out of here. Kyle, what you got?
No big news, but I did want to weigh in a little bit on this conversation with the Washington Commanders, especially because you brought up Travion Henderson. One thing that is being thrown around, this is nothing official, but possibly being considered that the Commanders could be trading down to get more capital both in 2025 and in 2026. So you talked about, Connor, that they have the 29th pick of this draft. We're hearing some potential thoughts that they could trade that down, eventually get to the mid to low 40s, and then use that pick on a running back like Travion Henderson, and then they'd have another pick later in the second round. They could get an edge rusher there. And like you said, kind of banking on that longer-term future now that they have someone like Jaden Daniels. Of course, having a running back who can block a little is great, as you were talking about, Connor, with Henderson. So I know we talked about the Commanders potentially trading up. I think it's also worth considering that they could trade down and then build their capital over that longer term now that they have a franchise quarterback.
That's interesting.
Can we stay here for final thoughts?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, one other note with Trevion Henderson, local guy, state-wise, Hopewell High School, just up the road, just outside of Richmond. So went to Ohio State. So yes, imagine he gets picked up. Family members can now just drive up the road, and they're good.
Oh, final thoughts on this year's draft, B. Smith. Thank you for the tidbit on Trevion Henderson.
Yeah. This draft, I liked it. It's still more to come, though. You're adding a little more spice to your, like a little hot sauce more to your food because it's nice, but you're like, I need a little bit more, just a little bit more. That'll come Friday and Saturday. You'll
Very
see
good.
that.
Shane, final thoughts and maybe one more take from you.
Yeah,
one more
well,
take from the Take King.
I'll start with my take. My take is, I believe, and I said this on one of our earlier shows, I think that the Commanders could potentially be a top 3 offense in the NFL this year. With how explosive Jaden Daniels was, they add Debo to the mix, who seems to be losing weight, getting a little more slender, getting a liting a little more elusive back there.
We're not weight watching Debo Samuel, all right? The man,
a little more slender,
Strike that from the record. I have no idea what this man's body mass is. He could be exactly where he wants to be.
I've seen the updates. I follow him on Instagram. He's in the gym.
Okay.
He's in the gym. But I do think with this offense and its capabilities, I think we could possibly see an MVP year from Jaden Daniels. Sure. I mean, last year, of course, not just Offensive Rookie of the Year, but arguably the best rookie quarterback we have seen in the NFL.
I agree.
Ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, this
prayer hands, he's cooking.
I think this could be a breakout year for Jaden Daniels. He obviously has a strong chemistry with his receiver one in Terry. You add a multi-use guy in Debo to this offense, and this draft, they could really get the last 2 to 3 pieces they need on the defensive end to really be fighting for a Super Bowl more comfortably than they were this past season.
I think that's a great place to end it right there for Brian Smith.
They might fight the Eagles.
Roll right in.
They might fight the Eagles on this one, folks. I hate to go there,
He
but
just
they
wanted
might.
to get that in. For Brian Smith, for Shane Fordham, for Kyle Johnson, for the Hot Take Corner, I'm Connor Rhiel. That does it for your 13 News Now Sports Overtime Draft Special.